Hunter started off with his first major book, which was Hell's Angels, which he wrote about 17 years ago. He originally was a writer for National Observer, which was kind of a counterculture magazine. He became a political writer for Rolling Stone magazine and became famous during the 1972 campaign, the presidential campaign, where he wrote about some of the antics, not so much of the people in the campaign as the people covering it. His work for Rolling Stone during that campaign turned into a book called Fear and Loathing on the Campaign Trail 72. He continued and in that book is the famous men's room interview with George McGovern, which I'm sure you're familiar with. He continued to cover politics for Rolling Stone and has also written another book, several other books, including Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. He is known as the father of gonzo journalism, although he will probably try not to define that for you tonight. He's also the author of a book of his magazine works, titled The Great Shark Hunt, which was published in 1979. Running out here. He has published several articles in Playboy and in Esquire. He currently lives in Woody Creek, Colorado, just outside of Aspen, and is at work on two separate books, one a novel and another one which he is collaborating with Ralph Steadman. Okay. In the past hour or so, we've been at the Granada Royale Hotel, drinking scotch, and eating popcorn. We had to stop at the Thrifty to buy a cassette so that we could record this tonight. Some of the other things Hunter is famous for, if you saw Fear and Loathing, if you've read the books, you might be familiar with Where the Buffalo Roams. It's a movie about Hunter where Bill Murray portrayed him. He's been the subject of numerous magazine articles and is known and is to let you know, Bill Murray just had a son. His name is Homer Banks Murray.
Homer Banks Murray.
And he talked to Bill Murray earlier tonight. I think my 2 minutes are up, so I think we're about ready to start.
All right. Let's see now. It's an altered room, and the first thing we have to determine is that people can at least understand what I say. First, I have a speech impediment, and second, I tend to edit myself when I talk. So we may as well at least understand each other's words, if not our thoughts. So, okay, all right, so we're doing a sound check here, right? You get it there? Louder. Well, now that means amplifier, right? Who's in the amplifier? All right, see, I'm as close as I can get. And I'm going to hover with it, bugger. I'll do whatever you want. I don't care what you think about what I say, but I do want you to hear it. Otherwise, we're wasting our time. So So how do we determine whether I'm getting through? Am I getting through now? Yeah. There's only people here. It's same as fun. If I'm not being heard or understood, I thought you'd have warned me somewhere back there. Now, I'll have to get back off the microphone. We'll probably start that, right? I don't know where I'm supposed to be. So what we're going to do is look at some of these questions here. Because people used to say that I was lazy when I would come into places and say, well, I just answer questions. But I saw that those bastards tended to start reading their own work more and more. So any questions you have, we want to be mean or fast, that's what I'm here for. Maybe at the bank board.
Use both mics.
What? You can hear me?
Use both mics.
Okay. Does that work? And people are going to come to this mic over here, and this mic over here, right? All right. Well, I wish we could get this thing turned more professionally. Is that all right? Yeah, it sounds like turtles walking to me. Whatever you want. Okay. Well, you know about Reagan, eh? Politics? I was down here, you didn't talk about politics. You just sort of beat up there people like me. I was warned not to come here. I'm certainly out there as somebody going to shoot me. It's always interesting to look at that crowd and wonder which one it is. I don't care. I would hope that they'd be good. I hate to end up paralyzed. Well, anybody wants to shoot me, give me a word and I'll stand up. I'm looking for some coherent questions here. Well, I never know. Here's one. Let's start with this. And we'll drift into some incoherent. Have you completely abandoned your ambitions for a political career? And that's kind of question that seems simple. But my career has been political at all the time. And it is tonight. And even dealing with women in politics, believe me, if you don't know it, now you will sooner or later. So a political career, what the hell was that? That's right. Now you can't play with no drugs tonight. I wish you could. Rid of the dog here tonight. It's unfortunate. You have more fun about it. Get any mescaline or Now I'm here to speak darkly in a dark age. And luckily I escaped it. See, I'm supposed to be dead. And I did all my work in another time. This is a different generation, of which I think most of you are part of. I have a profound sympathy for you. I'd like to help if I can. I'd be goddamned if I'm going to write journalism for Rolling Stone to do it. Or to go out and preach a message. I have a message, but I'm not going to tell you what it is. So essentially I'm just here to answer questions for what I consider a doomed generation. It's like a mercy mission. I'm here to help you people out of what I consider a terminal mire.
We appreciate your pity.
Pity, not yet. No, that's sympathy right now. Pity will come later. So, in answer to that one question about politics, my career has always been political. And if I thought I could do any good, I'd run for president. But can't do that and do any good. I think the person who did the most good running for president was Richard Nixon. Why don't we have a minute of silence or at least applause for Richard Nixon? If he even mentioned that bastard's name, he's still with us. State university, right? Tax funds that work this way? Somebody here should be able to run an amplifier. If they're not, they should be kicked out of the goddamn communications department.
Yeah. All right.
We're in a time where you can't afford to be dumb and bad all the time. That was all rock and roll. Now you have to be a little good, and at least be able to run a goddamn amplifier. Now who's doing that? My son could do that. He won't stand up. Are we getting through back there? You people are happy. Okay, well,
somebody should do it. I can do it.
hot dog. Yeah.
Hang on just a second. Let's see what we got going.
We got two mics. Good, good.
I can wait on that doors.
I figured that.
Sign my business, so I don't have to wait another 3
Do what?
I didn't let beer talk about it yet.
Hello.
Check. There you go.
Have a seat, buddy. That's your mom, too. Sure.
Hello.
Hi, how the fuck are you?
Let's call this.
Yeah.
Very good. All right, now, this is an awkward room, and I'm advised, that's what you mean by awkward room. But I'm not sure if you want to talk about,
Weapons, what kind for desert hiking?
speak very seriously about the fact that you're all doomed.
Why?
We can have a little fun and talk about what we do in, while the waves wash over us.
What happened to the great red shark?
Questions like that are really discouraging. It's a fucking car. It's a metal. All right, no, let's, all right, since I can't,
What do you see as the bigger threat to the nation, Reagan or nuclear power?
I don't think much difference, really. And Reagan, I think it's a given. He's a threat, because he's apparently clearly senile. I didn't know, in full knowledge of the fact that his wife is taken off like Rosalind Carter did with her mental health trip. And then see Reagan is taken off on a drug abuse thing. And the last thing the world likes to be doing is sitting down here talking about the president being senile and calling his wife a silly little fruit bag. They're great shallow people, and actually I think probably the president's not a bad guy, If you wanted to go by and visit your grandfather on Saturday night or Thursday night, have a bit of, cordon bleu with him at 7:30. It's like, Nixon, I saw Ehrlichman on Letterman's show that night. And Ehrlichman was saying that he actually wasn't campaigned for Nixon in 72, unless Nixon took a vow of sobriety. He couldn't drink at all. And they were horribly fearful. Like 3 drinks, 8 guys, That's what he did with Kissinger, dropping his knees and the other afraid. He talked to Lincoln and then, and then it was on the walls. But I think Reagan is that way in the sense that he's probably a nice, very nice guy. And I'm just afraid, I don't mind the president being a senile, elderly, nice guy. But I believe he's going to bring a shit rain down all of us, supposedly. And we're the ones who will be left with this goddamn movie. I wouldn't mind if the president were some freak who plays video machines all the time. I was hoping that Carter would be a nice business manager, a guy who'd leave in charge of his store. But you couldn't leave Carter in charge of your fucking automobile. Better to take small kids, a quarter apiece, and leave anything. Being a little frightened up. But I think we have to separate the fact, really, that Reagan, that we have a senile president who was wanted by a bunch of people who've been brought up on Hollywood movies for 40 years. He seems like a solution. He's not. Unfortunately, I wish he worked. I wish Reaganomics would work. I wish nuclear power would work. I'd be very happy if you and I could get together, if there was some legal provision for it, and build like we build a windmill outside of town. That'd be a nuclear windmill. we have our own power and we sell it to him. That's called communism. But nuclear reactors just don't seem to work. And there's no evidence that I know of to suggest that they're anything more than terminally dangerous. And if they worked at all times, and then we'd be talking about questions of, I'm not sure, it doesn't matter. They don't work. Now, if they work, how would you feel if they work? If nuclear power was twice as economical as solar power, and 4 times as economical as oil.
There'd be some other problem. There'd be some other problem.
Well, but what if nuclear power were proven to be safe and reliable? Who would be for it? I'll tell you. Who'll be against it? How many here would be against it if it were proven to be, like if we all agreed, if it was safe and reliable? I'd say yeah. No, that's my point. Well, you're a very confused group. Well, let's start with this. If it were safe, reliable, and
How safe is a nuclear war?
if it were, we know it's not. It's like putting bombs in your closet. But in theory, if they can make it safe, but they can, who would be for it? They would. How many representatives? Most of you would not want it anyway.
Right.
Yeah, all right, I'm looking around just to see. Well, I go to this other question here, a political point of view, which tells me that it is not safe, not reliable. The people who administer it, safeguard it supposedly, plan for it, and are stand between us and the dangers are dangerously incompetent. And you look at things like 3 Mile Island and Love Canal, where there's a thing in Memphis where whole families and almost a generation is poisoned. Yeah, there's no excuse for. I think we have to separate the issue of nuclear power from total incompetence and a nation that can't even build a goddamn car to beat the Toyota or not. Now, how can we be talking about building these giant concrete pillars out there that sink and fall sideways and crack? You have a bunch of winos and freaks. Here we have only one. I'm running on a little bit here. I'll settle down in a minute. The news drives me mad. I saw that we have only one combat-ready division, and this includes the Marines and our entire forces. And it's just been sent to Egypt. Now we have perhaps the first genuinely military crisis we've had in a long time in the Caribbean, which you can just see by looking at the map. And we have sent our only combat-ready division, which is, had to be weeded, Bill FedEx had to be weeded out of it. And did a urine test on the 82nd Airborne Division, when he was in Egypt. They're on the desert in Egypt, and meanwhile, the entire sort of North and South American continental connections being eaten in half, which I would do anyway, just out of perversity if I were the Russians. But I think we're talking about a nation, we're not talking about policy so much, it's just intelligence. And I wonder at times how we got this done, how we got this intelligence. I heard a man on television tonight talking to a friend of mine who works for the Washington Post, and the question was, why is Reagan cutting money for education and student loans? And this guy, speaking to the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, said, and I quote you precisely here, there are too many kids in colleges in this country already. I believe we're dealing with a state of mind or a frame of mind rather than policy questions. I think, I have no idea who you people are. You can all disagree with me completely. You might want to hate me. That's what I'm here for. That's the game we play. We choose the lanes we drive in. I've chosen the passing lane, and that's one of these days I'm going to crack up in it. And I've had friends who did it.
When do you think Al Haig's going to take over again?
I hope to God that they're not that bad. And when he did that thing before, even like boot polishers at West Point were embarrassed. Oh, and then they're saying, I'm in charge here. He looked like me, and that's just it. You know? How true, if you give a choice between me and Al Haig being in charge in an emergency, I would, as a gambler, which I am, I've changed my designation and who's who from writer to gambler. I think it fits the 80s. Writer's not going to be much difference in the 80s. Gamblers are. I would bet on me. I'm glad you do, too.
What are you going to do?
That's too broad, man.
How long would it take to bring up that second group of 82nd Airborne?
There is no second group.
There we go.
There's only one combat-ready division that we have.
Thank you.
And they're in Egypt. Meanwhile, we're having our nuts gnawed off in the Caribbean. That takes thing. I really find myself in an odd position of agreeing with Haig. But if you look at the map of the Americas, and you see where Cuba is, where Nicaragua is, if you ever played basketball, you simply couldn't accept losing both ends of the court at once. And I understand why they're crazy, and why, I think you're a senator, right? He wants to bomb Cuba. Well, I can see why he would. But goddamn it, it simply was Lord Southern since 1914. And we call ourselves a nation of civilized people. And we're put to the wall with the point where the Russians feel, and this is hubris, man, this is serious. I'm surprised with my friends in Russia. They're dumb. All politicians are dumb. But for them to make a move like they're making in Nicaragua is very strong. And I was putting my mind, what? You think it's just what a weak-minded, silly fucking move? Taking to the whole Caribbean, the Gulf of Mexico? Well, you do it with your left hand? What the fuck do you do for a living? I can get you a job anywhere. Anybody can move on the Caribbean, the Gulf of Mexico, and the U.S. in its entirety, and the whole Americas, with one move, which might cost about $16,000 for starters. He's a gambler. Yeah, a good one. And I have sympathy for your senator. I've always felt that he's one of the most honest politicians in Washington. He's not the senior senator, right? Yeah. I'm playing with a little bit of fire where you're going to get to Nancy Reagan and after Barry Boulder. No, I like Barry, and I've always liked that. I admired his but he's tough. Well, anybody who would say we should shoot down Cuban planes and bomb Cuban ships is dumb. We should do either more than that or less than that. We should not go out and pick fights in the street. But what alarms me is that we've allowed ourselves to get in the situation where even an honest politician, and then once ran for president, could advocate shooting down Cuban supply planes and then bombing Cuban ships in the Caribbean for what is as obvious and logical as me lighting a cigarette right now. Clearly, if they take a base in Nicaragua and Cuba, they're going to feel it and feed it.
The domino theory again, huh?
Excuse me?
This is the domino theory reworked here?
Well, the domino theory only works if it affects me. Like if everybody in the audience, like if you begin to hate me, and the person next to you began to hate me, and then it went down the line, I'd figure out something to do about it. I would first, maybe about, I'm not sure how many people would have to hit me. Probably the first block or two that hit me. But I wouldn't just sit and yell about you bastards and you silly left-wing swine. We do business with Poland. Poland owes New York banks like $26 million they can't pay, and they get more credit than I get. I don't see any reason why we couldn't do business with, if we'd done business with Cuba 20 years ago, we'd be in better shape now. Instead we tried to kill Castro 3 times, and he remembers it. Yes, I And then they tried to kill me 3 times, I knew their names. And I was 20 miles off their shores. I would do just what he did last year with the boat lift. I'd send him criminally insane. I'd send every goddamn every leper, every bastard that you They empty the dungeons on that one, boy. I was down there on the docks in Key West when they came in, and that was a crowd, I tell you. That was a strange group. And they're here. They're with us. I remember that. I think the Cuban boat flotilla, which is actually a subject of a novel that I'm starting now, is one of the great political pranks of all time. It beats Nixon, it beats Nixon, it beats anything I've ever done in politics. To have a CIA joke, which that thing was, when they thought they'd run a few Peruvians into the embassy and embarrass Castro because people wanted to get out of the country. And it turned it into a horrible embarrassment. Insane joke. They planted like 100,000 people over here, which I would do too. Strikes me as what politics should be. It should be humor. That was very high. They come over and get your relatives, but wherever one you take, you have to take 4 hours. And boy, the boats came back. They had to tie people. They had to lash up to the goddamn mast. They had to lash up to the fishing rod. People cut into their throats on the boats. They sent horrors over. They sent all manner of herpes-ridden mats. You know, they sent everything they didn't want over to Key West, and given it one Coast Guard station. And that was a scene. I tell you, that was something out of a show in the '60s. I've never seen anything like that in my life.
Felt right at home?
Pardon me? Yeah, that's it. Well, I just sold it for $500 million, so I'd probably that too. That's, what are you doing?
What do you think about the theory of limited nuclear warfare that our government's putting across now?
Yeah, no confusion. Let me just try this up here.
What do you think about this theory that the government's putting across as limited nuclear warfare?
I don't believe it.
Is that what we do?
I say do, I'm not talking about you as a generation. It's a very broad statement. I do it mainly to have a little fun. Although in my heart I do believe it. But,
Could you elaborate on our plight a little bit?
no, let's say that, we got time. Yeah, it's like,
John Belushi's death affect you?
how did John Belushi's death? Well, he's a good friend, was one thing. It embarrassed me. And maybe very sad for not so much myself. I've lost friends before. Belushi was a war wagon for a generation that has not lost their battleships before. And he's been a good friend of mine for years, and he's all live with us now, staying with his wife in New York. The whole funeral service there. It's depressing to me immensely. But it embarrasses really for a lifestyle that I don't believe had to be carried that far. And I'm not prepared to sit here and say that John Belushi taught me a lesson. It may have, or may should have, but I believe somebody has to carry some kind of banner there. And I think, as I say, we choose the lanes we drive in. I choose to drive in a very narrow and very fast lane. And John always wanted to drive that lane and compete. And it's a complicated subject, but he wasn't a very good driver. He had what you call a lead foot. And I said this, I'm talking about a friend, and a person that despite the monster he was, when he visited or when he were with him, which is kind of all manner of craziness and disaster. John was relentless. He wanted everything now. And of course, so do I. There has to be a sense of faith somewhere. And I don't think that whatever John did spoke for anybody else except John. And I've been with some bad people. I remember Oscar, my attorney.
Yeah.
And that was a gentleman. And Oscar had a left foot, but he had a sort of a Latin sense of discretion. John just wanted to kick ass, and he did it. I don't take any lessons from it, as you see it presently. And I'm sorry that he could have enjoyed his life more than he did, which he could have. What worries me is that Belushi's death, and even his life, might be taken as some kind of symbol or standard for a generation, which I don't believe it is. I've had a lot of friends who are berserk and nuts. And I think about a close friend here, and when I say berserk and nuts, I say it in an affectionate way, because I am too. But I believe John could have handled his life better without having to change it entirely. I'm embarrassed by the coroner's reports. I had no idea he would shoot anything at all. And I'm still not sure he was. But the potential for abuse is there with John, as it is with me. And all of us, really. I can't speak for you, but all of us in that generation, there is a certain level where he will do anything under certain circumstances. I've never seen anything I wouldn't do given the right circumstances. Well, anyway, to answer your question, I feel bad about it. You should too, but we shouldn't take it as a warning or a sign of what's in store for us. But believe me, that bastard really was. He had a seventh gear.
When are you going back out on the campaign trail?
Excuse me?
When are you going back out on the campaign trail?
Oh, campaign trail. I hadn't thought about it. That tells you right away when I went. I don't believe that conventional politics is worth my either interest or my attention or my time. Right now, conventional politics.
Did you miss it at all during the elections in 1980?
No. No, I only enjoyed it because it was something new when I did it. First time.
What is worth your time?
Well, I'm into writing fiction now. And I believe that we don't have much time. And I should do really what I feel I enjoy. I want to get back on the ocean, run my boat. Go over to Cuba, frankly. Well, I have a book down there in the feed that I want to use to write this book. You know, I believe the far better thing that I can do is to write good stories. And not hang around in the White House, rushing when really God.
What do you think of North Carolina beating Georgetown?
Have you read The Right Stuff?
I have Georgetown, the right stuff. At Georgetown, I'm still in shock from that last play, that basketball game. That poor bastard will live in infamy. And you know what it was it worthy? This was explained to me by some freak that played playground ball all the time. It's an old trick where you, when you see somebody's rattled, you call for the ball, run the other way, or away from it. It's always a problem. And Freddie Brown was the last person on Georgetown's team who should have taken that shot. He had 15 seconds to go. He wanted to get the ball away out of his hands more than anything else he wanted in his life. Get the ball out of my hands. This is Mickey Floyd. Get a shot to Ewing, and Ewing would have taken a shot. It had to foul Ewing, period. They could give him a shot. They had to foul him. They'd been two free throws. He'd have made one of them. It'd been overtime. So Carolina knew that they were going to be either overtime or losing the game. So here Worthy comes by and yells, "Give me the ball! Give it, David, let's go!" And Brown gives him the ball. That's what happened. I'm sorry, but it's a horrible thing. I'm just Georgetown, but it's one of those little tricks that you recognize who's rattled and who's straight, and that's what you do.
Dr. Thompson.
Nobody else can read. Nobody else can read it, so.
The question was,
Do you think you are going to see a resurgence of the Youth International Party with
the question was, do you think there will be a resurgence of the Yippie movement?
I like Abby, and I never did anything against the hippie movement, but it was silly. We all make some mistakes at times. I think Abby's part is good. Yeah, he's a good person.
What do you think you're different from Tom Wolf?
Well, the question was, how does he think he's different from Tom Wolf or Gay Talese?
I'm going to have my tape recorder for this one. Well, I'm not much, really. We're all clones. How's that? Stall in there. How many of you can read the tape? Doom generation getting the tape. Different from Wolf and Talese. Essentially, they are better reporters than I am, and more dedicated in terms of rendering a situation they go into and recreate, say, if they talk to you about your life. Whereas my approach would be that I would spend time with you. Whatever your life was, I wouldn't know. If Tom and I were going to write books about your life, he would talk to you after you had done something. I would talk to you before. He might learn more about it. He might know, he might make, I wouldn't know. It wouldn't matter to me, but he made a more intelligent assessment. You probably both of them be pretty good. But my starting point is where the action starts. And Tom's and Gabe's is to go back and make sense of what happened. No, that's true. I never was into the journalist. I kept asking Tom what the hell it was. And I noticed that his book on the new journalism, I'm the only person there with 2 articles. Everybody else is spread out with 1. When he was doing that, I kept asking him, what is it? What is it? I thought I decided to be a gonzo journalist. So, Yeah, if I killed a journalist, I don't really feel guilty. I don't consider Tom, as I've said, or David Halberstam, or Gabe Elise, or anybody who's doing good journalism. That's not new. If you read Mark Twain, it really goes back to the basic roots of all American journalism. It's all very subjective and very opinionated and very, basically it's good reporting. It's good journalism. And the better it gets, usually, the more personality is in it. If you look at it in terms of what stays in books and libraries, and what is published in Time magazine, I don't believe that the collected letters of T.A. Kalumber, I assume her name from Time magazine, is ever going to be in the library. But Abby Hopkins will be.
Did you read H.L. Mencken? Did you read much of Mencken when you were reading?
Do you read much of Mencken?
Yeah.
H.L. Mencken.
Yeah, I think it was probably as excessive as I am. But there again with Mark Twain, you get, it's a clear opinion of personality. It's subjective journalism. There's no apology for it. I agree with Mencken. He poked people, he made them jump and think. And there's nothing new about that kind of journalism. And Stephen Crane, who was one of the first people to make journalism and fiction, and he just went the other way. But in fact, all American writing has always been basically in journalism. Because there's a deep strain of sort of politics and subjective journalism. You went through all of best American journalism. Hemingway had the same sort of thing. I don't think I need to apologize for my being subjective. However, you do have to, like Bill Buckley is subjective. I think he's insane. He thinks I'm insane. He actually wrote in the New York Times that I had no interest in sex. And see yourself on the front page of the New York Times book review has been labeled having no interest in sex. It's odd. So, it is right. I think that little Greek writes that is right.
What do you think about Gore Vidal running for Senate? Oh, excuse me. What do you think about Gore Vidal running for Senate?
I like that. I saw Gore Vidal on TV the other night. Now, here's a master. Here's a guy who's really running journalism, politics, writing, everything else. On the day he declared for the Senate of Colorado, he moved from Rome, or Ravallo, like 13 years in Rome. He moves to California, declares for the Senate against a very vulnerable, well, not incumbent, Jerry Brown, and about three legitimate, Pete Wilson, and the incumbent, the dead Jeff. Vidal can't win, but on the day he announced, he got an hour on Ted Turner's station to explain himself. And in this hour, he charged me, I know what I want to do. He would fight another thing if he were here, maybe in the next room. But you have to admire a person to move from Rome to California and move into a, and I say a commanding position, I don't mean a majority or even a plurality position. But he can upset the race out there, he can cause trouble. He'll get maybe 10% of the vote. That, believe me, can cause somebody a lot of trouble in California. It's like $10 million worth of trouble. You have to fight him. And I think he had a very coherent platform. Now here we have a bull fruit from Rome who moved into California and announced, among other things, in his campaign platform, he's going to legalize cocaine, destroy the nuclear industry, force corporations to pay criminal taxes, and he can still pull the 10% of the vote. And if I can help him, I will. Yeah, I'll go out there and help him. Yeah, I don't like the idea of these people, anonymous people. And the fact that I'm alive right now amazes me so much. It's like free fall. It's like I've goddamn, some kind of a seesaw, a great big lake. And, you know, one of those things you slide down and out to the fun and end up in the pool. I have no idea. 20 years, I think you're in trouble. I think you're probably going to be, you better eat growing potatoes with luck in 20 years. And your children will maybe be dead from some kind of poisoning. And there'll probably be police that you don't understand governing most of your life. And there'll be no money for anything except maybe like a pack of camels on Saturday night. But you might be able to turn your TV set on. You might be able to find a quarter in like the British do. See, the British have accepted a really degraded standard of living over the years. And I spent most of the winter in England. I like it. But I was horrified to see that they'd actually accepted, step by step, degraded is the word, degraded lifestyle. Slow living, surely. People don't have any money, they don't do things, there's always a strike, the airlines are waiting for. Take for granted that there are no trains. You take for granted that your publisher's gone broke, you know, and you're paying it down $1. You take for granted that your girlfriend has herpes. You take for granted your car is loaded up, you know, and abandoned it, or your thieves might sack everything you have. It's always a taken for granted.
Would you say you're an optimist or a pessimist?
Well, I've always been pretty optimistic. But I'm also subjective. I'm actually optimistic for you.
How do you feel about violence against one of the name you as a disease?
Well, wait a minute now, let's get that straight. This is a classic example of stupid fucking subjective views, really. Now, where'd you get that? I know exactly where it came from, but I'm going to teach you a lesson. Quote that entire thing to me. Now, you just said, how do I feel about one guy calling me a disease? Now, you tell me what the hell he said. Come on, stand up here. I want your name. Stand up, man. I'm sitting here. Now, come over here to the microphone. You tell me what the hell you mean by that. I know what the hell he said.
Well, it's been a while.
Well, you shouldn't. Did you keep your fucking mouth shut?
All right, from what I felt, he was thinking that the artist, the creative person, was a warning signal for society, that they were sensitive before their time. And he felt that you were sensitive much before anybody else realized there was something wrong.
I was leaving the American political system. And I was not even enough. And that's what he calls Hunter S.Thompson's disease. If you had faith in the system, if you were simple and you get this, I want you to hear it. Hunter S.Thompson's disease, as defined by Kurt Vonnegut, is essentially being naive enough to believe that the American democratic system can work. And the disease is the shock that comes when, I'm quoting Vonnegut now, I'm not necessarily saying that this is true, but I thought it was an honorable comment, and I've always liked Kurt for it. That anybody who let the naivete and the simple faith to believe that democracy could work and that people at their best could function was going to get hurt. That's what he called Hunter S.Thompson's disease, and I would think you're goddamn silly.
I figured that would make you a symbol, right?
Well, I think you should make yourself more clear. I think I made myself pretty clear. Try to get to the mic.
I'm sorry. I
What
apologize.
kind of disease do you have? I don't like you're an actor, you're snipey, I think, and I'm this call.
Okay, so if you guys have a question, he'll point to you, and if you can just real quick go to the microphone.
Double that. Oh. Right there, you look funny.
James Watt, how do you feel about his policies?
James Watt. I think, unfortunately, that James Watt speaks for the people who are running the country right now. I believe they brought him out there on a limb just like they have Stockman. And said, all right, we got a pool there. You always want a pool in politics. You got to have one. The more you have, the better. You sacrifice them. Instead of running down the hallway with fire and torches. And they get shot. You know, that's like a point there. So you know what you want to do. And you send people like Stockman out to say outrageous things. But when you really do, you believe it. What I think what speaks to the president, he would not be there anymore if he didn't. And I think he's just outrageous enough, so I'd use him too. It's like they use him to, you know, piss off all of the rest of us. But what Watt says, he told us that. And he wouldn't say it if he didn't think that he was going to keep his job. He likes that job. And he also believes that God talked to him. I mean, that's of course.
Yeah. What's Ken Kesey doing these days?
I thought he was a nice guy. I saw him. He's writing a novel about China. He went over to China. We both got mixed up in this weird magazine about running. Well, every once in a while, you know, like, it doesn't happen more every 5 years. But if you keep your ear to the ground and you're writing, you know when some fool has gotten hold of a rich magazine. And, oh yeah, the word gets around. And I wore a Hickle, who was my Ramberts and Scanlons, and he was saying on winter and all. Well, it gets, every once in a while there'll come like a mushroom will pop out of the ground. It'll be a magazine that'll pay you to do what you want to do. And I use that to do this book that I'm working on with Ralph right now, almost finished. And Keith used it to go over to China and cover some kind of Peking or Beijing marathon, get himself involved in writing a novel about China. Keith's one of the really good people around. Yeah, I think that he's also one of the really good writers of our time. But he's fun. He hasn't really changed. If Keith had brain damage, then I'm for him. I don't live here anymore.
Before that, there was another year,
Yeah, many times. A taste for, more than a taste, it's a compulsion for privacy. With what a lot of people would also assume be a great lust to get your name in People magazine. Yeah, I either never needed it or never understood the need for it to be as public as I became for a while. And things like the comic strip in that movie put me in a place where I just definitely want to get away from being public.
one more question on that. I always wondered.
Those are the people can't hear you. I mean, there's two disparate questions, and because I'm not sure people can hear you. It's not interesting, but I can just really hear you myself.
Yeah.
All right, let's go through them here.
Okay, you ran for sheriff of Aspen a few years ago. What were your plans?
Did I control the county, period? I didn't want to be a sheriff. I just wanted to control the sheriff, which I almost did. 4% points. I just about did. At which point I would have been put in prison. And you'd be hearing about me like Gordon Liddy. I'd be coming around and bringing strength to my face. Now they'd have got me, but we scared them pretty badly. And they bought maybe 10 years of peace. It's good to scare people once in a while.
Yeah, what kind of music? Still, is music play an important part of your life?
Este.
too much when you get what you ask for, right? I mean, well, I better pull this one out, shouldn't You're like this. I didn't hear it. then you can talk to me about drug abuse. But as long as I'm sitting here and talking to you, I believe we can talk, more or less rationally. So, drugs are fun sometimes.
Have drugs helped out your writing style?
I don't think so, no. I think living in a drug culture might have somehow shaped it. You keep in mind that I was living at the time I came to be read by anybody. I was living essentially at the easy place along Honda with the Hells Angels, with Jefferson Airplane, the Grateful Dead, San Francisco as a Matrix. Yeah, I was wrong until my friends started dying from it. Or, actually, I saw it first in Speed. People shooting Speed. And I thought, God, he's dead. It's not what you think. And the more damage I've seen drugs do, I don't count the damage in lives. I think that's, once again, you choose the lane you are driving. I don't blame Oscar's death, for instance, on drugs. Oscar was going to buy something with a ticket, and he missed on it. He had a heavy ticket in mind, but he had the money in his pocket all the time.
What happened?
Who's that? Oh, okay. He got involved in drug trafficking. He got shot in the stomach. Right. You don't find money.
What do you think about the drug laws in this country?
The question was, what do you think about the drug laws in this country?
Why don't you ask me a more direct question?
What do you think
I
about
think
the
clearly they're
What about
unsound.
taxation on sale?
Unsound. Yeah, you want to get more precise when you do that? What law?
What about taxation on sale?
Yeah.
You're talking about legalization, aren't you? Yeah, we want to talk intelligently we can, or we just want to just rave against the government.
Do you think marijuana should be legalized?
Probably, this is interesting, probably legally and politically, I would say yes. But for my purposes, and for my use of marijuana, I would say no. I think that, I don't think the government should, well, it put it all down to the level of buying 4 roses whiskey. I don't see any point giving, and this is one of the few points where I'm breaking aside. I don't see any point giving the government control over it. It's essentially functioning well as it is. It's de facto legal anyway. I think decriminalization, which is a mastered word, so which covers what we're talking about. So it'd be somewhere between where weed was 10 years ago or booze is now. But there's no alternative. I think we deserve the right to enjoy some odd high. I think I wonder sometimes whether something's good or bad. I hate to always go to the state weed store. You know that I'm going to get lame, horrible crap, the same shit I've been buying for the last 14 years while I watch Archie Bunker on television. I'd be like buying Coors or something. The kind of weed that they would make legal would not be the kind of weed that I learned to enjoy and pay my dues to enjoy over 20 years of serious drug experimentation. Now, maybe for you people, it might be better. I don't know. You're dealing in a renegade here. I've given up all my claim to, not quite citizenship, but somewhere along that line. We'll define that. That's the first question.
Yeah, tell us about the book that you're writing with Rob Stebbins.
These broad questions, like, why don't you ask a question? And there's no point asking me to discourse about, subjects.
You like Mexican food?
You like Mexican food? Yeah. Kevin, I like cooked better. I didn't mean to dismiss you there, but just to try to put it together quickly, it's a book that Ralph and I got dubiously and wrongly involved in out in Hawaii, where we thought we'd just do a quick, fast little book. The idea was to do a travel book every year, like this year to Hawaii, next year Fiji, next year Sri Lanka. And we got involved with arguments with editors, people were fired. It's about ready to go to press. But it's not nearly as much fun as I thought it would be. But I went up there getting into ocean fishing in Hawaii and ran amok among the deep sea fishermen, which is a really serious macho crowd. That's the worst I've ever seen. It's just like taking on crowds. The whole thing is about taking on crowds. It's not that we try with that on. But this is a book that's going to come out fairly soon. And it probably won't be much good. But it'll be interesting. It's called The Curse of Lono. Lono is the god in Hawaii that has, and it didn't occur to me the other day until I've been saying that Lono was in Hawaii was the god of abundance. And when Captain Cook discovered Hawaii, he was the first white man in there, and they mistook him for Lono, the long-lost god they've been waiting for all these years. And at first they worshipped him, and when he bled, they killed him. That's what the book's about. And it seemed like such a perpetual, universal theme. Well, it's always primitive societies. You know, of course, the Aztecs, when Cortez came in, the only reason that the Spaniards got into Mexico was because they were waiting for him. They were waiting for a god. And this is an enduring theme in all primitive religions. And I thought, what the fuck am I thinking about? We're talking about 1982 in America, and there are people lined up on hilltops waiting for the second coming. And, survivalists and doomsday freaks. And all of Christianity, really, the civilized version of it, is based on the notion of the second coming, that Jesus came once, will come again. And here I had a goal, it's called primitive. So what I'm really writing a book about is the joke. The first joke is the God's going to come again. The real joke is that he came in the first place. We're on our own here. You know, we have to be our own God. That's really, by the message, that's what it is. And I can't tell you how to do that, but I believe it. That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
Not enough.
Oh, well, I made it up. $2,500 total. Pretty good, all right? Got that. You come back to me when you're getting paid that.
Talk about the birth of Gonzo.
Go home?
The birth of Gonzo.
Oh, that's an old story, but it's a general story. It's a nice story. Why did you ask a sharp question about it? Like, was it right or wrong? It's unfair to ask me to just discuss stuff. I don't mind doing it, but...
Can you explain?
A lot of us don't know.
Who said that? Stand up, man, and give me money.
Can you explain how your style changed so drastically?
Oh, come on, it's a little while.
What direction is there on heading that? What also plan?
Do you guys, if you guys want, you could just use the microphone. That might be easier. It's right there, kind of standing out there. You just want to stand up to it and ask questions.
Are reporters' rights being taken away?
Oh, yes. There you go.
Since your sheriff election, what do you think the potential power is in the free power movement for politics?
I was never a free power movement. It worked. We brought the buggers under control and arrested development in that valley for 10 years. And to my utter horror, what it's come of it has been a place that's overpriced now that it's a very valid question as to whether I can afford to live there. Probably the only reason I can afford to live in Aspen is because I so invented it as it stands now in terms of real estate. I'm sitting out there with 120 acres, a huge, I have a valley of my own. Two houses in the valley. This was what he wants. I couldn't sell it for $5,000 a night. Due to the zoning that we've imposed on it. And what's happening to all my friends who went broke out there, it's Aspen real estate, Aspen realities have come full circle. Yeah. I mean, back to that. And I was just about to say like rock and roll, but I stopped. That'd be real dangerous, wouldn't it? Start drawing lines like that. But Aspen, we really are, we bought our own. Well, that's what I've always said, you know. Buy the ticket, take the ride.
What's the future of rock and roll?
What's really the future of rock and roll? I do not know. But I wouldn't bet on it. I'm a gambler.
How much of the movie was bullshit and how much was you?
Which movie?
How much of the movie Where the Buffalo Roam was bullshit? How much of it was you?
Well, yeah. 10%. I'll give you a, you had to ask Murray.
Oh, no, not me.
Well, the movie is sort of a lame, cheap attempt to do a story about an idea. Oh, no, we've been friends for a long time. Logical person does. We both know it's a bad film. And we tried to cure it, but that's one of those situations where you get offered $200,000 to sit there and watch the cameras roll. And live in Hollywood on the hills and got Playboy Bunny naked in your pool and it's kind of hard to turn down. But we've all matured now, you know. Sylva's father and so am I, and we put that behind us. The rate was that.
What do you think of the reoccurrence of all the old 60s bands?
I'm thinking you're which bands?
Starship, maybe? Oh,
How about the Rolling Stones? That's all. No, there's a very cheap temptation now to capitalize on the.
Watching the cameras roll?
No, if you let me finish, I'll play something. I want to talk about something. But there's I think a very understandable temptation, almost compulsion now, to look to a time when people really thought they were doing the right thing. Whereas in this generation, in this decade, people know they're doing the wrong thing. Even they want to do it.
After we lost John Lennon.
That's exactly what I mean. I call it woolly-headed thinking. He would classify as a windhead in Washington. It's not any reflection on Lennon, but it does raise questions as to the minds or the state of intelligence that would think that the death of John Lennon would change your life or the life of the world. No more than President Reagan did. No, that's right. It's going around. But I think that anything you get now that's associated with the 60s has to do with not just nostalgia, but a genuine journey. I mean, I think it's very pure and understandable to me. The people would like to think they're doing the right thing. And that was the essential characteristic of the 60s. No matter how crazy people were. There was a very pure strain of believing that we were doing the right thing. We were right. And you see none of that now, I don't. This is sort of hedging bets, backing off, counter-punching. That is called doom. Thinking you're wrong.
I'd like to ask the other guy. For about 2 years.
That's thinking, that's not doomsday thinking.
What's better, Sandoz or Osley's?
The question was, what is better, Sandoz or Osley's? Osley.
Who's got the head on?
Well, I've had both, and we are talking about,
Yes, we are.
they're not my favorite, but give it a choice. Well, Owsley, yeah, so I'll say Sandoz, and I'll tell you why. That bastard Owsley, I was once sitting in a club in San Francisco when he gave me a joint. And I'll say the second row, like right here. And he was, Jimmy Cliff, I think. Some, high ticket band in a club in San Francisco. And after two talks in his joint, I was sitting with John Winter and his wife and 2 Rolling Stone editors and down in front. I was supposed to be hating myself. And Andy Leibowitz, as a matter of fact, was dragging me out the door. After 2 talks, I had to go fired on my knees, sit on the garbage can in the alley on the club outside on Broadway. And I had to have Andy and Gene Winter get a cab and say if ever the exit. And I went out instantly. I realized that, oh God, it's Owsley again, that bastard. I don't know what it was key to me. I don't know what the hell it was, PCC, but I realized that I lost my mind. I went down the garbage can, rolled out the door. Perfect. And then they had to run me down this alley. I told them, get the cab. You let the cab. They parked the cab right by that, shoot. On the back door. And I knew I went to Broadway in San Francisco on Saturday night. And I went really down the alley. I got off this garbage can, rubbery-legged resort. I didn't know if I was 19 feet tall or a 40-year-old girl. I saw an opening. I told him, get the cab, don't bother me. For Christ's sake. I went reeling down the alley, about 100 feet. And plunged into the back seat of the cab. And Eddie slammed the door. We took off $200 for our climbing up the stairs. Crawled. And for that reason, at least I would know that wouldn't happen to Sandoz. I've been dropped a few times real badly. PCPA. Anybody ever been dropped a PCPA by accident? There wouldn't be anybody here, no. They wouldn't be able to hold their head. Oh, I know. Boy, that's a bit. You really know what drugs are about there.
We only have time for about 2 more questions.
Why?
Get $4,500.
Trying to leave.
Time is money, huh?
I'm gonna go. I'll talk till 4 in the morning. I can't sit here and think the drugs that, I'm not. I said, anything I say about drugs is a joke. I spent my drugs. I don't need drugs anymore. I'm out of Jesus in life.
Well, is there any validity to the poisonous rumor that you're considering turning pro?
Well, thanks for a silly fucking answer like the question.
Thank you very much.
I turned well a long time ago.
Pro what?
I am a professional. No beer? Or what the fuck are you doing? What kind of generation do you represent? Why can't you bring some beer in with you? You guys need for beer? Well, what the hell? There was a time when people were self-sufficient. Well, you should, maybe I have to give you a beer.
I'll drink the water.
Maybe you'll be better off then.
How about you?
Well, who else wants to? They just see that there's a bitch. What else should I do now? Hang on for a second. You realize that you're putting a dampening effect on the crowd here. Now, our reporter's right. I presume you're talking about out of the number of the bill. The CIA, the bill reported that they need to be put in prison for, yeah, it's maybe the most dangerous arrest bill ever, or a bill that had anything to do with arrest never brought up. Because it puts it, power of interpretation, the word of interpretation on the government. I've been guilty of all kinds of breaches of intelligence. Or maybe that's the point is you never know. I spent years in South America learning about, say, Voice of America people, USIA people. Some of them work for the CIA. You never know who's working for the CIA. It doesn't really matter. They're all, some are good people, some are not. But it's not like, mafia. It's not, they don't change colors at night. Bill Buckley worked for the CIA. I got some good friends who have. People do different things. The CIA is generally a more intelligent operation than the State Department, or the political arm of the government. But the idea that a journalist could accidentally be put in prison for 4 years for jeopardizing the security of a agent we don't know in the first place and don't care about it. Hey, Howard Hunt, the Watergate burglars in the CIA. Black fellow, they're in jail, right? And that's what Nixon tried to pull, national security. And he was lying. But with a law like this, they would get, I'd be the one who would be up for it. So you ask, I think it's one of the most dangerous times for, this is a dangerous time for everybody. It's a dangerous time for old ladies, it's a dangerous time for babies, it's a dangerous time for me. I assume for you, unless you have some special panic. This is a dangerous time. We're on very thin ice, and we've pushed our,
What's so thin about
our assumptions real far.
What do you say?
What? Is it more than Jesus? Somebody has a mic over here.
What assumption are we
Keep waiting for Jerry Paul. I heard he was around. I understand that Kevin teamed with religious life that maybe I could learn from you from. And believe me, I do like to learn.
I'm going with the assumption that you're a very knowledgeable person.
No, never soon. Never soon. I'll leave anybody else.
I'm fucking up from the start, huh?
No, why don't you say something?
Do you know the people who are running the country right now? Are you friends with them?
No, I'm not.
You're not? You would know.
I was going to read the question.
Who'd you put your money on? Who would you bet on? Hunter the gambler, who would you bet on?
Between what?
Is the U.S. sound business investment?
Come on.
Would Hunter the gambler say that the United States is a sound business investment?
I would say the dollar is. As everybody else in the world has said, that's all we have to sell right now. Is interest rates in the dollar. We have sold our birthright for a massive budget.
Is there
All we're doing now is we're like the world's pawn shop. We're paying usury rates for the dollar to keep it high. But we're not selling or exporting anything that the rest of the world believes in. They like the dollar, and everybody likes interest rates. 20% or more. You can get 33 if you work for it. But what we're not doing here is either selling, exporting, or believing in anything that the rest of the world really takes seriously.
Right.
Who said that?
Illinois Farm Club, rain.
Well, thank you. That really is a problem. We have one of the best.
Let's turn it into fuel.
You can't turn the idea of democracy into fuel. You can't sell that. And it's hard to merchandise the notion that people are intelligent if given the access to the truth and to the right leaders, and they'll make the right choice. That's a very delicate notion. It's like the notion of people being essentially good or essentially decent. It's like believing in, well, dangerous area. These are very delicate things. The simple idea of democracy pretends to the notion that if all of us had all the information we should have and put all of our options together and added it all up, we'd be better off doing the right thing for ourselves. It's the ultimate enlightened self-interest. Now, around the world, that idea has come to grief. And the number of democracies worldwide has shrunk to some minuscule number. It's embarrassing. People all over the world have not found us to be a really edifying example of what happens when people are turned loose to determine their own fate. Now, I find that insulting and discouraging and embarrassing and enraging at times. I believe essentially that given enough information, that I will do the right thing. And the evidence suggests that I'm right. It's not me that's out there taking goddamn old ladies off Social Security and then taking school budgets away from kids in ghettos and declaring war on some silly little bastard in Nicaragua who couldn't even fire a gun, just trying to pick a fight, and plunging the entire economy into chaos and hurting people. I don't believe that whatever we call this generation that was not doing it. I don't see the harm that was done. What I see being done right now is harm to people. I think people's right to believe that they can at least live normally and have food, that their Social Security check will not bounce. In this country, you can't guarantee at least that other countries, hell, they're 15 or 20 are way ahead of us in this. So we can't even guarantee the health of a minimum medical health guarantee, or the simple fact that Social Security will come to you. I'm enraged when I get a huge amount taken out of some check I get for Social Security. I don't ever come back to me. I won't get that money. It's being zipped away somewhere. Now, I don't really care about it, but it might come down when I would. But my mother does, and she counts on that check, and other people's mothers do. And when you can't count on your Social Security, this is a bankrupt country. That's bankrupt in a way that isn't just an accident. That's not short change. That's what they got to do on the talking to Rich Goen at the Chamber of Commerce. There are too many kids in this country in college already. Now, what the fuck kind of mind would say it like that? That's the same kind of mind that would cut off Social Security, that would drop a cheap bomb on Nicaragua. I'm embarrassed to be with people like this. I thought we had a little more style in this. I thought this country was better than have a freak like this guy Hunter down there, this ambassador in El Salvador, who shouldn't be allowed to here except with shiny shoes. He should be on his knees all night long, shining shoes. I'm losing my temper again. That's all right. I got arrested and always
You guys, we only have time for one more question.
So violent, so bad.
If we want to stay here, do you want to talk? If we want to stay here, do you want to talk? Who are you?
How much money do you have?